All right, so today we're tackling a question that's probably on a lot of minds out there.
Mm-hmm.
Is the Panasonic Lumix GH6
Right.
still worth it in 2025
Yeah.
with the GH7 out there now?
Yeah, that's a good question.
We're going deeper than just the spec sheet, though.
For sure.
We're looking at the real-world stuff,
Yeah.
how these cameras actually perform, what it's like to use them.
Yeah, the feel, the experience.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And to guide us, we've got this in-depth review and comparison from
Okay.
LensClear, which I'm sure a lot of you know.
Yeah, they're great for this kind of thing.
They really help photographers make those tough gear decisions.
Absolutely. It's more than just numbers with them.
Yeah, they get into like how it feels in your hand,
Yeah.
what are the strengths, weaknesses, out in the field.
Does it actually work the way they say it does?
Exactly. So let's start with the GH6.
Yep.
It came out in 2022.
Made a splash.
It did. One of the big things even back then was its internal 5.7K ProRes recording.
At up to 60 frames per second even.
Right. Now, 3 years later, is that still something?
It's still pretty impressive, I gotta say.
Okay.
Even today, that level of quality internally,
Yeah.
for video people, that's huge. You don't need a separate recorder.
That's got to save some money.
Oh yeah, those external recorders are pricey and bulky.
And I bet your workflow is just so much faster.
Streamlined for sure.
Speaking of workflow, the review also talked about 4K 120p all-intra capture.
Oh yeah,
That sounds kind of technical.
it is a bit.
Yeah.
But think of all intra like the best quality blueprint for your footage.
Okay.
Gives you tons of control when you're editing. And 120 frames per second. That's 4 times the info compared to regular 30fps.
So you can really slow things down.
Super smooth, slow motion. Like that cinematic look.
Perfect for all those creative projects folks have in mind.
Exactly.
Now, what about that cinematic widescreen look?
Ah, you're thinking anamorphic.
I am, but those lenses get expensive.
They do. The GH6, though, has built-in anamorphic modes.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it digitally stretches the image.
Interesting.
It's not the same as a real anamorphic lens.
Sure.
But it's a way to experiment without spending a fortune.
So we've seen it's good for video,
Very good.
but how are the photos on this thing?
Well, it's no slouch.
Okay.
25.2 megapixels on that sensor.
Mm-hmm.
You get great colors, good dynamic range,
Good for landscapes, then.
especially for landscapes.
Yeah.
You want all those tones.
The review also mentioned fast burst shooting.
Oh, yeah. Got to capture those moments.
Whether it's a cheetah or your kid scoring a goal.
Right, and don't forget that weather sealing.
Oh, yeah.
You're covered if it rains suddenly or it's dusty.
That's got to be reassuring.
Peace of mind,
Do it.
especially if you're out adventuring.
And of course, both the GH6 and GH7 are micro four thirds.
That's right.
So you've got a ton of lenses to choose from.
A whole system to grow with you.
Portable, too.
Yeah, that's a big plus for a lot of people.
So even in 2025,
The GH6 still packs a punch,
especially for the price.
especially for the price.
Now, the GH7 came out last year, and it builds on what the GH6 did.
Yeah, it does, yeah.
So what are the big leaps forward? Well, one of the big ones is the new sensor,
Right.
25.2 megapixels again.
Same resolution.
But the game changer here
This is the big one.
is the phase detection autofocus.
Ah,
PDAF.
PDAF. Now, some folks might not know what all that means.
It's a mouthful.
Can you break it down for us?
Sure. PDAF is super fast and accurate at focusing, especially when you're tracking a moving subject.
Oh, okay.
Now, the GH6 used contrast-based autofocus,
Mm-hmm.
which could struggle sometimes, especially in low light or with fast action.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So PDAF on the GH7, it's a big step up. Way more responsive and reliable, especially for video.
The review actually specifically called out the GH7's low-light tracking.
Yeah, they were impressed.
That's a major improvement.
Big time.
And the video upgrades keep coming.
Oh, yeah.
We've got open gate 5.7K recording.
More flexibility in post.
You can crop and reframe without losing quality.
Exactly.
And then there's internal LUT recording.
Now, this one might sound technical,
Yeah, a little bit.
but it's super helpful.
Think of a LUT like a preset color grade.
Like a filter.
Kind of.
Yeah.
It changes the look of your footage instantly.
Yeah.
And the GH7 lets you record those LUTs right onto your video files.
So you can actually see what the final grade will look like
Right there in the camera.
while you're shooting.
Exactly. Saves tons of time in post.
So efficient.
And you know what else is smooth?
What's that?
The GH7's image stabilization.
Oh, yeah, they improve that too.
Even better than the GH6, which was already pretty good.
So even smoother footage, especially handheld.
Yeah, no more shaky cam unless you want it.
Perfect. Perfect for that cinematic look.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now, we've talked a lot about video.
We have.
What about stills?
Yeah. Does the GH7 do anything for photographers?
Of course. That new sensor and the autofocus system benefit both stills and video.
Right.
So you get that faster, more accurate focusing for photos, too.
Less chance of missing the shot.
Exactly.
There you go.
And that improved low-light performance helps, too.
Good for indoor shots.
Or anything dimly lit.
Yeah.
There is one thing to keep in mind, though. The GH7's electronic shutter has a bit more rolling shutter effect than the GH6.
Oh, so that's actually a step back.
It's not a deal breaker, but if you're shooting fast action with the electronic shutter, you might see some distortion.
Okay.
Best to stick with mechanical in those cases.
Good to know. The review also mentioned some other nice upgrades.
Oh, yeah.
Slightly better image quality.
A little bit.
Nicer LCD screen.
They refined the menus, too.
And more customization options.
Well, it's like they really focused on making the experience better.
Sounds like it. So now we know what's on the spec sheet.
Yeah, the technical stuff.
But what about the actual experience?
The feel of it all.
How do these cameras feel in your hand? Let's get into that feeling in the hand then.
Yeah, the real-world stuff.
The LensClear review makes the GH6 sound pretty comfy.
Oh, yeah. It's known for good ergonomics.
Okay.
Comfortable grip, easy to reach the buttons.
Nice.
You can use it all day, and your hand won't cramp up.
That's important.
And don't forget that fully articulating screen.
Oh, yeah. You can get those creative angles.
Low to the ground, high up.
Yeah.
It gives you options.
The reviewer was really raving about the internal ProRes recording.
Rightfully so.
Saying it totally changed their workflow.
I bet. Saves so much time in post.
No external recorders.
No more transferring huge files.
Streamlined everything.
It makes the GH6 a real contender, especially at its price point.
Broadcast quality without the fuss.
Exactly. But we did talk about that autofocus issue.
Oh, right. With moving subjects.
The contrast-based system could be a bit iffy.
Oh, yeah. PDAF's a whole other ballgame.
Oh, yeah. PDF is a whole other ballgame.
Much faster, more reliable.
Especially for video. You're not going to miss those key moments.
Like at a sporting event.
Or even just your kid running around.
Yeah, you need that quick autofocus.
The GH7 won't let you down.
But beyond just autofocus, it sounds like the whole experience is smoother on the GH7.
It is. The menus are better. The camera just feels more responsive.
Okay.
And those LUT recording features we talked about,
Yeah.
they just make everything faster, more efficient.
More professional feeling.
Yeah, exactly. But we should mention that rolling shutter thing again.
Right. With the electronic shutter.
It's not a huge problem,
Yeah.
but it's something to be aware of.
Especially if you're shooting a lot of action.
Yeah. Stick to mechanical if you need to.
So which camera wins?
That's the million-dollar question.
The reviewer had some good advice.
They did.
If you're just starting out or you're on a budget,
Mhm.
the GH6 is still a fantastic option.
Especially if you're already using micro four thirds lenses.
Yeah, you get great video quality, internal ProRes.
All the important stuff at a great price.
But if you need those top-tier video features,
And that super reliable autofocus.
the GH7 is the way to go.
It's a step up for sure.
It can handle those bigger, more demanding projects.
No problem. It really comes down to your needs, though.
What are you shooting?
What's your budget?
What do you actually need from a camera?
It's a personal choice.
Definitely.
If you're still on the fence, though,
Yeah,
check out the full LensClear review.
they go into a lot more detail.
They have those real-world examples, too.
So you can really see how the cameras perform.
Exactly. And, hey, maybe this deep dive has got you thinking about all the cool micro four thirds lenses out there.
Oh, yeah, there's so much to explore.
Wide-angle lenses,
Yeah.
telephoto lenses.
It's a whole system that can grow with you as a photographer or videographer.
You can find the perfect tools for your style.
Well, that brings us to the end of our deep dive into the Lumix GH6 and GH7.
It's been a journey.
We hope this has helped you figure out which camera might be the right fit for you.
It's all about finding what inspires you to create.
And we hope you'll join us again next time for another deep dive.
Until then, happy shooting, everyone.